Well, I'll start by asking Richard, where did the idea first come from to adapt this particular Dostoevsky novel?
It came from R.V. Kareen, who I ended up writing the film with, but it was his idea to adapt the book, and he, did the first couple of drafts of the script. So, yeah, it was entirely his idea.
Yeah. I mean, though the world is so sort of surreal and kind of fantastical at times, the heart of this story is a very unlucky man who kind of just goes to work every day, sort of a mundane office job, and he fancies a girl he can't get, which is obviously very relatable themes. Was that something that attracted you to the role, Jesse?
Yeah, because, if the story is about a doppelganger, it runs the risk of being heightened in a way that would take it away from something that's realistically emotional. But like you said, all the emotions were not only real, but relatable. Well, I wasn't doing it because the emotions would be relatable to others, but they were, relatable to me, and I felt like I could understand what this character was going through, even though the world he's living in is kind of heightened and dystopian.
I was wondering, it's a very kind of memorable aesthetic. It's very kind of dark, brooding, but very kind of emotional atmosphere, I found. Mm-hmm. I was just wondering if it was like that on set, or did it all sort of happen in the editing suite, or was it quite a dark place to be? And stuff?
It wasn't very bright on set. Our electricity bills came in under, and it was fairly depressing. Shooting at night I quite like shooting at night, but everyone at around 3 a.m. begins to wobble. So it's a long shoot, and no one ends up really sleeping in the day either, so everyone's slightly insane by the end, which has its value.
And it moves kind of like clockwork. A lot of the scenes seem sort of very choreographed, and it's all kind of very staged. I was wondering if that made it quite difficult to shoot. Did it take a lot of takes to kind of get it sort of perfect every time?
There were a lot of takes, I'd say, but a lot of that is just having a chance to keep doing it and seeing if something else will come up. And we rehearsed for quite a while, and also I think because the feel of the film's slightly dreamy, you want it to be not in just a kind of naturalistic meter. Someone speaking now this meter is incredibly powerful and charismatic, but that's because I'm doing it. But in a film, it might not translate to something that interesting. Now it's compelling, we know this, but you don't have that, what I have. No. So I had to just
to have you on set was exhilarating, because I could see the pace at which you were thinking.
Yeah. In a way, a lot of the job is just preventing the actors feeling bad about themselves in relation comparison.
To you. Yeah. And you were pretty successful in that way. I didn't feel awful the whole time.
No.
The whole time?
I tried to hide the light, so, you're playing yourself down, or,
Passed out glasses and kind of lead vests.
Yeah. It must have been a really fun sort of challenge for you, Jesse, to take on, to play the sort of two lead roles in the same movie.
It was fun to do. You kind of build up a momentum that, would otherwise slow down on a more traditional movie set, because your mind is always active, and you can kind of, pace scenes in a desirable way, because, you're playing both parts. It was fun, and it felt kind of like I continuously felt like what I was doing was it didn't feel like stale to me. Like oftentimes when you do a scene over and over, in a traditional movie, you would play the same role and you'd feel kind of like it's getting stale or something, or boring. But this didn't. This had the opposite effect.
It was incredible that every time we cut to either Simon or James, you could tell instantly exactly which character it was, and it was in the most subtle of details. I was wondering how you sort of went about achieving that. What did you sort of change about your demeanour to ensure that we could tell which character you were playing?
I did some very technically specific and things, just like changing shoes or a jacket that has a different feel to give me a different feel, or to kind of evoke something different in me. But I suppose a lot of that has to do with how it's filmed as well, right? What do you do?
I mean, nothing really different to how you'd film any character. I mean, it really was Jesse, and just in a scene where it's the same shot and you see the two characters, you know, it's the same angle, you can tell the difference. So, you know, we're not doing anything to heighten the difference in that. There's not like a spooky underlight on one of them or something. Although that would have been a good idea. Why didn't we do that?
I could have held it in my hand so that you could, under the table or something,
That's
for
so
example.
depressing that we didn't do that. But
maybe the second one.
Yeah, the triple. So it's just Jesse. But also, you know, when you do a film, a scene could be filmed from 8 different angles, so actors are having to reproduce the same thing again and again, and also are used to playing different characters in different films. So in a way, it's just a bit more concentrated, and you're doing more, but you know, you have less waiting around, which you prefer. You know, you're not, getting cold and sort of feeling that you're not on. I
mean, that must be one of the real kind of joys to have come out of Submarine, was that you were able to then attract people like Jesse and Mia to your next project. I don't know what attracted them, but I'm really pleased they did it. I mean, I think also just the idea that was just present in the book is just a very interesting and funny one, which is someone being so invisible that, you know, an exact replica could come along and no one would notice, and that just is an idea that wasn't one that any of us had. It was just a great idea that we've just taken and stolen. And Jesse, had you seen Submarine? And if so, were you a fan? I suppose you can only really answer yes, seeing as you're sitting next to the director. But
yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, I thought it was so wonderful. And one of the things I took away from it was that you could tell just from watching it how the actors were treated on set. Every character is treated with such respect, and every character seems unique and fully lived in, and that's a testament to the way it's directed, you know, that all the actors feel like they're being fully creative and at the same time existing in this weird world that somebody else has created.
And I've read a few people call The Double a comedy, but I think it's really, I don't think you can categorise this film at all. Are you both quite sort of pleased to be part of a film that is very difficult to define from a kind of genre perspective?
From a sales point of view, it's terrific. Not being able to say what the film is a PR person's dream. They love going, we can't even say what it is.
I can't think of a word.
Yeah. I'd like to say it's like something that you would like, but it's essentially... I can't even think of a way to persuade you to even try it. I don't. It's sort of partially worrying, because you just sort of think, what do you even put on the post? There's not even anything on it. It's just you can't even say anything. We ought to be able to at least have a pun of some kind. But I don't know. I mean, you just don't. Those problems really start hitting you in the face around now, but when you're doing it, you're not worried about it. It's just, you know, what is this character interested in, and how should we film it, and is this too long, or is this bit boring, or you don't really think about the listing category. But you know, I do think it is funny. But yes, I mean, it's probably inappropriate to go in a box set with Along Came Polly, as much as I do like Along Came Polly, which I think it's good. But it wouldn't be a great fit as in a twin pack DVD set.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Much appreciated.